The market's been crazy, things are too hot, you're never gonna be able to buy a home, right? Wrong. People are buying homes every single day, and despite what you may think, you don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars to get started with your first home. Even with home prices being the highest they've ever been, there are still ways that you could use to your advantage to get into your first home. Did you know that you can buy a home and actually pay less per month than if you were renting? Yep, I said it. Buying a home can actually save you money every month as long as you put in a little bit of extra work and give up a little bit of convenience. If you're sick of renting and paying your landlord's mortgage, or you just want to own your own home, then stay tuned because this video will definitely help you. What's up everyone, it's Nick Vazquez here, and in today's video we're going to talk about how you can buy your first home in the GTA even if you're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Before we get into it, I do want to say if you find value in this video, if you enjoy the video, please do me a huge favor and click the like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you're feeling extra generous, just tap that little notification bell. So let's not waste any more time. This is a very simple way to get into the market, start building up some equity, and start taking advantage of the appreciation. This is a concept called house hacking. Plain and simple. You're gonna buy a property, you're gonna rent out the basement, the bedrooms, another unit, whatever. The point is you're gonna rent out part of the property to generate some extra income to then offset your mortgage payments. Now, why would you wanna do this? Here are some great reasons why you might wanna consider this. Because you can get into the property with a low down payment, you could take advantage of all the appreciation that we've been seeing. Check out this video to see how much all the cities in the GTA have appreciated over the last year and a half. I'm linking it above. You can offset your monthly housing payment by a lot, and in some cases make it zero, although admittedly in the GTA that's really hard to do. But still, your monthly payment will be lower. And you can start building equity as your loan is getting paid down with the help of a tenant, so it's not all your money going into the property. This is such a great way to get started and get into a property and take advantage of all the aspects of owning a home without having to take care of a high monthly mortgage payment by yourself. I'm gonna show you an example of why this is so powerful. These numbers might not be exact, but it will give you a general overview of what I mean and why this is so great. So let's say you wanted to buy this house right here. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath with an extra 2-bedroom apartment in the basement, separate entrance and everything. It's listed for $800K. Let's say for simplicity's sake, there was no other offers, so you bought it for $800K. You could put as low as 6.88% down to buy the house. So that's $55,000. Your mortgage payment would be around $3,352 per month. That's not an exact number. That's just a rough idea of what it would be. You can then rent out the 2-bedroom basement for at least $1,600 and even up to $1,800. But for this example, we'll just be conservative and use $1,600. That would then make your monthly mortgage payment $1,752 per month. That extra $1,600 a month that you would be paying towards your mortgage can now be put into your savings account, and you can now start accumulating that money to have enough of a down payment for your next house. You're also getting your loan paid down with the help of a tenant, and you're gonna take advantage of all of the appreciation. Let's see what this looks like in 5 years. So after 5 years, you'll have paid down $123,000 off of your loan, meaning that is now your equity. You own that money. If you added up all the money you saved by having the tenant in there, that would equal $96,000 over 5 years. And if we use the conservative estimate of 5% appreciation per year, the home value would be over $1 million. Keep in mind that over the past 5 years, home values in the GTA have gone up by over 10% per year. That's including the dip we saw in 2017. So essentially, you made $220,000 off of appreciation. You made $96,000 from rent from your tenant. That's extra money that would have gone to your mortgage, but instead went to your bank account. And you now have $123,000 of the loan being paid down for a total of $440,000 over 5 years. So you'd basically be making $88,000 per year for the next 5 years just for owning a home. Now, of course, there are other expenses that we did not factor in, things like property tax, utilities, closing costs, and all that jazz. We're also assuming a 5% appreciation per year, but we're also not considering rent increases as rent tends to go up over time. Again, this is just strictly an example of the power of using this method to get into the market. Imagine all of this happened exactly as I said. What would you do with an extra $440,000 after 5 years? You'd definitely be able to sell this house and buy a much bigger and nicer house with that $400,000 down payment you'd have. Now, there are even more ways that you can lower your monthly payment. You could live in the basement and rent out the top floor for even more rent, thus reducing your monthly payment even more. Or you could just rent out the individual bedrooms, which would net you more money. If this house was in a good Airbnb location, you can Airbnb the basement or the top floor and just turn it into a cash cow. There's just so much you could do with real estate and so much ways you could be creative with it. The point is that all of this is to say that if you think think that you can't get into the market, I want to show you that you can. There are ways to do this. You just got to think outside the box a little bit. Now, this method might not be right for everyone. I fully understand that. I'm not saying it's for everyone. It does work exceptionally well if you are young, if you don't have a family, if you're single, you don't really have many responsibilities or obligations. Even if you are older though and you have a family, this can still work. You might just have to work a little bit harder. Maybe you don't want to share, a kitchen or other bathrooms and stuff with random strangers, but you just have to work a little bit harder, find a place that has a separate basement apartment, and you could just do that. Also, you don't necessarily need to rent out part of your house to strangers. You can always find friends or family that are in need of a place to live. Just let them live with you, and then, they're gonna be paying you rent. Now, if you can't afford a house in the GTA, it might be beneficial for you to move out of the city, buy a house, live in the house for a few years, use the same method, pay down the loan, and take advantage of that appreciation. It may not be feasible to move out of the GTA, but if you can, you could pick a city that's rapidly appreciating, like Hamilton. You buy a house in Hamilton, live in it for a few years, sell, and then just move back to the GTA. And speaking of other cities, if the purchase price is low enough, you could just buy it straight as a rental, let the tenant take care of all of the monthly expenses so you're not coming out of pocket every month. Wait a few years, and as that home appreciates and the equity gets paid down, you just sell it, and then you buy your house in the GTA. Of course, I'm just throwing out a bunch of ideas here, but the point I want to make is that you do have options to get into your first home. You just have to be creative and figure out how you can do it versus focusing on why you can't do it. This also doesn't need to be permanent. It's a temporary method just to get started. I just put out a video last week explaining how you should be approaching homeownership and how to actually afford a detached home in the GTA. And this method could really be a great way to get started with that. If you want to watch that video, just click the little card above. I understand that you might be a little reluctant to try this, or you might have some objections, but I do want to leave you with this. Is avoiding a little bit of inconvenience more important to you than potentially making hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a few years? What would you do if you made an extra $400,000 over the next 5 years? That's gonna wrap this one up. I do hope this video was helpful for you and opened your eyes to the power of real estate. Of course, as always, if you have any questions or you want to bounce anything off me, feel free to reach out to me. My contact info is below. Just hit me up whatever way works for you. Thank you so much for watching the video. I do appreciate each and every one of you. If you like the video, please hit the like button. We've got some great videos coming out, so double check, make sure you are subscribed, and tap that little notification bell. Until next time, enjoy yourself and have a great week.